toe. Throws away his crutch and hollers, hey, let her go. Oh, honey, hail, hail, the gang's all here for the Alabama Jubilee. Well, that's about it for tonight, folks. Please come and see us sometime when you can. If you can't, why, do the next best. Write to us. Good night.
This has been the Red Foley Show, brought to you by Gordon's Feed Store, Clark's Hatchery, and Jim Hanks, your Ford tractor dealer. Well, that's it for tonight. See you, Red.
Okay, Joe. Thank you, boy.
Good show, Redhead.
Hey, thank you, Sam.
Wish you'd said something about that personal over at Winfield tomorrow night, though.
Oh, by golly, I forgot all about that. Well, maybe somebody will show up anyway, huh?
By the way, Jim Hanks called. Something about a singing commercial for a new Ford tractor.
Do you want me to sing it?
I want you to write it, too. I want you to drop over at his place tonight.
Well, I got nothing else to do. I might as well go over there. Hey, I might work up a little deal while I'm over there, you know?
Now, remember, he's a sponsor, no sharpshooting.
Oh, I know,
Incidentally, he said bring your guitar.
Just like everybody else. Come to the party, but bring your guitar. Let's go.
Come on in. It's open.
What do you say there, Jim?
Hi, Red. Have a seat.
I'll do that little thing. Sam was telling me something about you having a new tractor over here. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know why they did that. My goodness, Ford's got more models now than Carter's got oats.
Well, this one's the Diesel.
Diesel?
Mm-hmm.
I always thought of a diesel as that big, heavy equipment, like caterpillars and bulldozers and that type of thing.
That just about puts you 10 years behind time, Red.
Yeah, you're putting me on now, trying to make me sound old-fashioned.
You know, I bet you're still using mules out there on your dad's place.
Yeah, you know darn well what I'm using, and you couldn't sleep till you sold it to me.
Red, did you ever stop to think why these big operators use diesel in their heavy stuff?
Well, that's a little out of my line. I never thought much about it.
You know, these boys are real price conscious, Red. They use their equipment 12 to 15 hours a day, and they know that operating costs often spells the difference between profit and loss.
That makes good sense.
And diesel burns a fuel which is not only cheaper than gas, but also gets more power out of each gallon.
Sounds real great.
And this here diesel has a torque curve that climbs, which means you can lug it right down to almost idle and still get most of the pull.
No, that torque business, that's what the automobile boys are using nowadays to sell automobiles.
Sure it
Since
is.
they run out of horsepower.
Uh-huh. That's right. And torque is also what a farmer needs in heavy plowing, or when he runs into any heavy work where he needs all the pull he can get.
All right.
You've
now.
run in those spots,
Yeah,
I'm
and
sure.
you've convinced me. But if this diesel is so great, why isn't there more diesel tractors around the country?
Well, there's always been one fly in the ointment with diesel.
I knew you'd get around the truth finally.
You know, this fuel economy and torque that we're talking about, that isn't free, you know. To get it, Red, a diesel has to have more than double the internal operating pressures of a gas engine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the material had to be big and tough to stand the abuse and hold together. Well, you might say there's no such thing as a light, powerful diesel.
Yeah, and you're sitting there bumping your gums and you're right back where you started.
Oh, no, I'm not. Now, in the past 10 years, we've developed metals that are light and tough. Consequently, we now have a light, powerful diesel.
Jim, let me
Now
tell you.
what?
Look, I appreciate all this schooling that you're giving me, but what's this got to do with this singing commercial that Sam was telling me about?
Well, I didn't think that you could write or sing about something you knew nothing about, and I thought a little background might be of some help to you.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been singing about women now for 20-some-odd years, and boy, my lack of knowledge hasn't hurt my enthusiasm one bit.
Well, that ain't the way I hear it.
Hey, by the way, where do you keep this wondrous machine? Or is it too big to get in the store here?
Come on, I want to show you something. I got something here I bet will knock your eyes out. Come on.
All right, this I want to see.
Follow me. Well, which one is the diesel, Red?
The one that says diesel on it there.
He not only sings, he can read, too.
Well, I can read right, and I have a little trouble reading. Hey, you know something?
What's that?
That looks just like the tractor I got out there on my place.
Then right there in a nutshell, my boy, you've got my whole problem.
How's that?
Well, here I've got a completely new kind of Ford tractor. It looks just like the rest.
Well, it beats me. I wish I could help you.
You know, I've been thinking about it, and I believe I've got a way out. If I can get the people around here to realize that this is the same fine Ford tractor
You won't have any argument there.
with an...
Hey, it looks like the same tools will fit on this one, too.
They sure will, Red.
How much?
What?
I said how much?
Well, you mean how much money?
Now, what else? After all, the customer's only interested in two things. That's how much can he get for his money and how little he has to pay to get it.
Well, that's always been my experience, too, Red. The price is just a hair more than our gas tractors.
Mm-hmm. How much is hair selling for these days?
Kind of missed your calling, didn't you? You should have been a comedian.
I don't know about that. Hey, this price difference, what was that you saying about that?
Well, I said our price difference, diesel over gas, is about half as much as most other diesels, somewhere in the neighborhood of, $300 to $400.
Pretty classy neighborhood, I'd say.
Well, not in the long run, Red. You see, you might think of this diesel as a fine, high-class young lady. Costs you a little more to get to know her, but after you're married, boy, she'll give you a long, happy life of hard, dependable work.
Yeah, boy, what an imagination you have got. That's a pretty story, but what are the details about this pretty lady, as you call her?
Well, Red, do you understand how a diesel works?
No, but I do have a little understanding of how a gas engine works.
All right, let's start from right there.
All right.
Now, basically, Red, a diesel is the same as a gasoline engine except for two important differences.
Mm-hmm.
First, you throw out the entire ignition system that you use to fire the gasoline and substitute twice as much compression to fire the diesel fuel. Second, you throw out the carburetor and substitute a fuel injector pump and a set of injectors that spray the diesel fuel directly into the cylinder.
And that's all there is to it,
That's
huh?
right.
Well, these injectors and this injector pump look like pretty fancy machinery to have break down on you.
Well, there's one of two places where we have the competition cornered. The first is price. As you know, I've told you our price difference of diesel over gas is about half as much as most other diesels. Now, about the injectors, they've been giving long, faithful service for years in our Fordson major diesels. Now, as for the pump, let's take a look at this.
Hey, man, oh man, that's a complicated-looking little gadget, isn't it?
You ought to see some of the other diesel injector pumps. Look like small-sized engines. This one's about the simplest one made. And as long as you keep the fuel clean and service at proper intervals, it'll last a long, long time. I'd say usually once a year inspection is all that's necessary.
Mm-hmm. Well, how about these injectors?
Nothing to them. Just a spring-loaded plunger that releases under pressure and sprays the diesel fuel into the cylinder.
How they hold up?
Well, Red, with proper care, this pump and this injector will last the life of a tractor. You see, this diesel is a rugged engine, and if you service at proper intervals, it'll give long, faithful service. And there, my boy, you have the difference between gas and diesel. First, you throw out the ignition system and the carburetor. You substitute the injector pump and the injectors.
Jim, my boy, you have given me a wonderful education. I appreciate it, and I'm sure you're going to sell a lot of diesels. I'll see you a little later.
But, Red, what about my little jingle?
Look, good buddy, you've got a mighty fine tractor here. But I don't believe there's a man in the world that could write a decent singing commercial about all this stuff you've been telling me about, these injectors, the injector pump, torque, and all that stuff. And that might make a good lecture, but I don't think it'd make good entertainment.
Well, you don't understand. I just want you to get a little background, that's all.
Yeah, and you give me enough, too.
Well, Red, I wanted to show you how good this diesel engine really is, and I figured maybe that'd start a few ideas stewing around in your head.
Look, you have convinced me, but you got me snowed under with all these details.
Well, now, stop there just for a minute. Basically, you get two things with a diesel. Fuel economy and tremendous lugging power, which adds up to a big cut in operating costs.
Yeah, but you said the diesel costs more to start with.
Well, sure, but it soon pays for the difference, and every hour after that is pure gravy.
And I gather that's the message you want to get across in this little jingle, huh?
Well, yeah, something like that.
Well, that's a big order, but I'll try.
Okay. First, how about a tune?
Well, I had one in mind just before I come over here, and I hope I haven't forgotten it. Let me get my guitar.
Okay.
Look now, this is not one of these modern rock and roll type tunes. This is one of them old folksy things.
Let's hear it.
Da-da-la-da-dee-doo-dee-dee-doo-dee-dee. Da-da-la-da-da-la-da-da-dee. Doo-dee-dee-doo-dee-dee-doo-dee-dee. Da-da-la-da-da-la-dee-doo-dee-dee. Let me tell you a story about a tractor today. It's making its power in a fascinating way. It's called a Ford Diesel, so powerful, strong. Where others hang up, it'll chug right along. When turning the soil, you get quite a thrill, either plowing the bottoms or climbing the hill. To feel that great diesel lugging along, it don't use much fuel, it's powerful strong. She's easy to start on a cold winter's day. Those four tools will work in the same easy way. She'll pay for herself in fuel savings alone. Your operating cost will be cut to the bone. For diesel, so powerful strong. You'll find diesel oil burns so cheap and so long. I think for me life I'll go down to the soil in a Ford tractor burning that fine diesel oil.